Everybody, I hope you all are doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing okay, but I prefer pillow talks when we're actually like in the bed on our pillows.
Yeah, I know. That's when we usually do it, and today we decided to do something a little bit different. We're actually gonna go just jump on camera and handle this. And so, in case you don't know, Pillow Talk is where my wife and I get together, and our goal is to help us have elevated conversations about things happening in our community. I'm a finance professor. My wife is a professor of social work and a licensed therapist. And so today's topic actually has to do with the one and only Will Smith. Now, Will Smith is a guy who is doing quite well right now. I would say he's a bona fide movie star. He is out here just kicking butt, taking names. His new movie, Bad Boys 4, was just a massive, mega financial hit. I mean, just absolutely killed it. And I thought Will would just be a fun topic because there was a video you had sent to me where Will was talking about money, and you and I are both big on money, and we created the first ever Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School, and he really seemed to have a really interesting relationship with money that I thought was worth exploring. Now, before I begin the discussion, I want to ask everybody in the chat, can you give me a quick yes if you can hear me? Let me know if the audio is coming through okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me okay, if I'm coming through good and sounding good and it's all making sense to you, because I want to make sure that we are hearing each other. And also, so babe, what I want to do is kind of just hop in. And first off, just kind of ask you in terms of an overview, how do you feel about Will's success? I ain't gonna lie, I was really happy for him, to see his movie do so well, particularly everything he's kind of been dealing with. What are your thoughts?
Oh my God. I've always been a Will Smith fan, even though his personal life and I think his issues with the Oscars, the big slap at the Oscars, had a lot of controversy. I've always stood by his side. I'm one of those Black women that be standing beside the Black man no matter what. So I was one of those. I'm always rooting for him. And I think it's just because he's so likable. There's something
Mm.
about him that's just likable, even though he got upset and defended his wife, and we now understand some of the issues that those two were having in their marriage. It all makes sense to us, and no matter what happens, it's like he just comes out on top. And so, I'm very thrilled that this new movie has actually been received very positively by the audiences. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy too. Like I feel like Will is a guy that's just gone through so much. And I mean it's really amazing given just the beating his reputation kind of took from so many people. And what's really interesting is that when you go back and you kind of look at what happened since the slap, it's almost like the like Hollywood, when you do something that's kind of out of line, they kind of expect to be able to punish you, blackball you, eliminate you, and it's almost like he's not cancelable. Like it's almost like no matter how much anybody might have tried to take this guy off the map, at least at this stage in his career, they just can't do it. I don't know. I mean, he because if you saw how he promoted this movie, he was super charismatic. He was really energetic. I follow Will on Instagram. I love the way he was using his big Instagram platform to really engage the audience in ways that I thought was just really powerful. And as a result, this movie made over $100 million in the first weekend. And I don't think this movie would have done so well had it not been for him doing his thing the way he does it. And really, only he does it this way. What do you think?
Yeah, he exudes this energy that's infectious. It's like he did the cameo at his own premiere. He dressed up and sat in the audience. I think
Mm.
that's what he talked about doing. He sat in his audience and then he came out and recorded people's reaction to his presence in the movie theater of the opening of his film, and then he put that on social media. So if you look at his Instagram page and everything he puts out, it's so positive. And if anything, that's the wonderful way. First of all, it's a wonderful way to deal with mental health issues is to remain positive. That's a great way to protect your mental well-being is that, and then we see it in him. It's the contagiousness of his, his energy. It lets us bounce back from some of the ups and downs in his past. And if anything, having marital issues, that's relatable. If anything, people can relate to that. And, I don't know. You talk about the power of positivity and having the positive mindset. That's something that I think Will Smith must study. He must study because is working. It is definitely working. And his loyalty. Wasn't it great to see how loyal he was to Martin Lawrence? It was just like, no matter what, those interviews that he would have with Martin Lawrence. And I think Martin Lawrence was kind of struggling a little bit, but he jumped in and really made his co-star look better. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I felt like anybody, even Stevie Wonder could see that Martin Lawrence was struggling, that there was something going on. And I don't know what it is. I mean, there was talk about strokes and all this stuff. In fact, I was so concerned. I really am convinced that there's going to be a Bad Boys 5. It may be in another 10 or 15 years. And what's going to happen is definitely the Martin Lawrence character is going to be played by AI. That's what they're doing right now in Hollywood. They are literally taking actors and scanning their faces and their bodies so they can use them in perpetuity. And so my prediction is that you're going to see a wave of movies involving people that have been gone for a long time. Like you might have a movie with Michael Jackson, Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and Tom Cruise, 30, 40, 50 years from now. That's, well, we won't, a lot of us won't be around then. But still, though, I think that's the prediction. I don't think Martin has another big movie in him. But you're right. Will kind of held it down and just took it on his back.
Yeah, and it made us love him even more. Like there's something like really authentic about Will Smith when you see his interviews and you see him on screen. And I think that authenticity for the audience, it makes us like him more. And it also makes us trust him, because a good key indicator of trustworthiness is when someone comes across as authentic, like a sense that he's being himself. And I don't know. I just think that that's just, it's just great to see that the Will Smith is still here. The one we love, the version of him that we love in movies is still around. And I think that's wonderful. Don't you think so, Boyce? Where are you? Oh my.
Sorry, I'm back.
What happened? Where are you?
I hit the wrong button. I canceled myself by accident. So sorry. Yeah, if that ever happens, just keep talking, babe.
Okay.
You don't have to sit there and wonder what's happening. You can just keep talking. All right. So anyway, everybody, if you're watching, if you're here for the first time, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And our topic for tonight is just Mr. Will Smith. And he's the guy that I would consider to be uncancelable. Will is a guy who just literally went through just hell on social media in terms of people really just spitting on his name. And he went out and showed y'all. He went out and he showed he's a movie star. He showed what he is and who he is. And he's done really well. Now I'd like to talk about just some of the socio-psychological aspects of this. That's why I love talking to my wife, who's a therapist. Also, there's a financial discussion Will had that I wanted to share. And you guys know my background. I'm a finance professor, and I thought it was interesting. So if you could do me a quick favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. If you look for Boyce Watkins on Spotify, you can find it there. And if you want to follow Dr. Alicia on Instagram, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com, or sorry, at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Or you can also find out more about her work as a therapist by visiting coachingwithdralicia.com. Okay, so what I want to share actually is this video clip. You actually sent it to me.
I love that. I saw that video clip and I was just coming out of my chair, out of my skin. I was like so excited. I mean, it is spot on. I love this video. I can't wait till you share it.
Yeah, I loved it too. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this clip, and I need y'all to give me a little help to let me know if you can hear it. It's an interview he's having with another guy who's kind of like his twin, and they had a really interesting conversation about money. And I put it on my Instagram page, Dr. Boyce Money. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me there. I had 600,000 followers on Instagram. They decided to delete that. So if you want to follow me now, just go to Dr. Boyce Money, and I still talk about money and all kinds of other stuff every day. If you're interested in that. So here's the clip. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay, hold on.
$150 million. Is that accurate?
I don't even know, man. I don't discuss such things.
As someone who's had money, lost money,
money,
then had it again bigger than you ever imagined. Are you good with money now? Are you working on getting better? What's your relationship like with money?
This is the downsize phase of my life. The first half of my life was gather. And the second half of my life is going to be, give. Once you've bought everything you want, and there's literally nothing on earth that you want to buy, I just wish that was a gift that everybody could have, because there's nothing that material can do to satisfy you. When you realize that no relationship, that no money, that no kids, there's literally nothing that can make you happy. You got to make happy in here. You got to make happy in here with none of that stuff. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. A quick Google search says that your net worth is.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. Wait, let me know. Give me a guess if y'all were able to hear that clip. Was everybody able to hear it? Okay. Give me a quick yes to let me know you heard it. All right. So here is well, let me ask you this. You saw that clip, babe. So Will is reflecting in a pretty deep way about money, what it means to him, what happiness is. As a therapist who sees clients every day who struggle with happiness and everything else in between, what was your perception?
I love this kind of stuff. I mean, I think one of the most significant sources of happiness is the quality of our relationships, building and maintaining like deep connections with your family and friends. I mean, that sort of thing is very priceless. And having a sense of belonging. And I just, I love to hear that kind of thing. It's like, it's where he's like transcending, the meaning of money. And honestly, like, I feel like, I mean, I know money is so important, but I hear too many conversations where people put so much of an emphasis on money. It's like it's the only thing that's important. Like it's the only source of wealth. It's just to how much dollar amount is in your checking account and your worth being tied to that. I talk about that all the time, and I just feel like it's such a trauma response to just fixate yourself on just one thing. And I mean, I know love and money is important, but I think we should stop saying love and money and start talking about love and wealth, love and abundance. And there's so many different ways to have that in your life that is beyond a financial number. And I think that like, this is just a reminder to all of us about connecting and finding purpose with lasting happiness, things that create happiness that's lasting in our life. And that is finding purpose and meaning in your life. And I'm so happy Will Smith is on this level now. Like he is talking and it would go over some people's head. He's like, I don't know what the dollar amount is in my checking account. I don't really know how much money I have, but I know that I have found a source of happiness that comes from within. And what else could you ask for? It's just a beautiful reminder of us all. So that's why I sent that video to you immediately. I mean, not so that we could do this pillow talk, but just so that we can have a conversation about between me and you, so that we can remind ourselves that our relationship is so much more important than material things. So that's why I sent it to you.
Well, I thought it was great. And I'm gonna tell you, I've always been impressed with Will and his family. I became more impressed, when I was in LA, and I met his brother Harry, and I sat with Harry for many hours and talked to him, and he looks just like his brother, which was just kind of eerie. But we talked extensively because we had a common interest in money and war. Harry managed a lot of Will's money, apparently. I don't know if he still does. I don't know what the situation is with that, but I do know that I can identify and spot smart people. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you went to school or not. I can tell if the neurons are firing, and Harry was firing on all cylinders. We just sat there, had a great conversation, just stare, like we're literally just intensely involved in this really deep discussion for many hours. And I love that. I just love a really good, deep conversation. And so Will, that tells me what kind of family he comes from. I remember Harry telling me about their father and how their father taught them certain things, and their mother and the world and everything else. So none of this surprises me. I kind of feel like Will is a guy where his journey isn't close to being over. It's like him being like this great actor. It's like he has this journey where he's this famous rapper, and then he's gonna have this journey where he's this amazing actor. That's probably going to continue forever. But then I think there's going to be a part where he's going to transcend even that. I could see Will maybe being president of the United States if he's crazy enough to do that. Maybe he had some billion-dollar organization that really does meaningful things around the world. And I love him showing that side of himself. I really was trying to figure out what was going through your head that day you decided to slap Chris Rock on the most important night of your life as an actor. Like that, he's been going to the Oscars, I'm sure, for like 30 years. And on the night where you finally win Best Actor, that's the night you slap him. I'm not. I don't. I'd love to just know why. Like what was happening? What was the backstory? What went on before that slap?
You know what? I think he got caught up in the role. To me, from where I'm sitting, it seems as if he got caught up in the role of playing this protective father. Because if you think about, what is it, what's the name of the movie? King Richard. It's all, I think actors need to be able to turn it off a little bit and remove themselves from their the role that they play. And I think he was just so in the moment, and everything just seemed so raw to him, and he was so reactive. And I don't know what it's like to be at the Oscars, but I imagine there's just so much hype and energy around it. And I just think he just got swept up and caught up in this moment. Then we realize, after his wife starts talking, Jada Pinkett Smith, then we're like, oh, that filled in the gaps a little bit. So he's struggling with the potential loss of his spouse, who he seems like he's very much committed to her and her family. And I think that loss, I mean, come on, that's got to give complicated feelings there. So I just think it was just a ball of all of these things whirling around, and he just lost his senses for a minute and started taking it all out on Chris Rock. Hence the title of Chris Rock's special. What is it called? Selective Outrage, or whatever it's called, whatever that special was called. But I just think that it culminated into, that sort of thing. But his speech was amazing. His acceptance speech was phenomenal. I mean, if you listen to it, he was emotional. He was crying. You can tell there was a lot going on inside. So
yeah, I saw that too. And yeah, well, what I see was not so much. I don't think we have the ability or the right to really speculate on why he did it. I think that we know so little about his life. Most of us know probably 0.1% of all the things Will Smith has going on in his life, all the things that have happened. And I think that part of knowledge is not just reflecting on what you know, it's starting off the conversation by understanding how much you don't know. No, and knowing that the universe of what you don't know is bigger than what you do know. And the reason I say that is because we could sit here and talk all day about why we think Will slapped Chris. We could say, oh, they were beefing, or yeah, he was mad because he got punked in front of his wife, or yeah, he's trying to win his wife back. But we don't know. We have no idea. And honestly, what went through my mind is I said, maybe he found out his wife just got cancer, and you're making fun of his cancer-stricken wife. Maybe there's something else that occurred, that we don't know about. I think that's the part that's interesting to me, is not so much just what we do know. I mean, yeah, okay, two dudes beefing, he got mad, and that just seems too simplistic to me. I feel like it's deeper. I feel like something happened it before that really triggered it, where it's almost like again, I just think, I guess I think maybe the reason cancer crosses my mind is because I've had cancer hit my family, and I know that if somebody was to say something crazy about my mama right after I find out about her cancer diagnosis, and you would see a whole different Boyce Watkins, and you can sit all day and try to speculate, but if I don't give you the key piece of information that you need to really know what's going on inside of me, you'll never know, and so I would say that with Will, it was just unfortunate though. It kind of made me sad because this guy has done so well to hold it together
Yeah.
far longer than I could. I mean, white folks gave up on me years ago. Like you ain't never gonna see me at the Oscars or the Emmys or the Grammys or none of that stuff, because I have spoken too much on Black issues in a specific way that pretty much means I'm not, that mainstream America is probably not gonna be interested in people like me. And I have a certain degree of admiration for Black people who are able to hold it together in the insanity and the crazy expectations of that world, where you're spending so much time around people who are different from the way you were raised, and they're judging you in crazy ways. They're expecting the Black guy to take certain roles. They're looking at you and your people in terrible ways, and you have to just swallow and stomach all that without expressing the natural outrage that a Black man has. So when I saw Will Smith turn into a brother that day, I mean, really turn into a brother. He's always been a brother. I'm not calling him a sellout or nothing. But when he really just was like, I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna go slap this dude at the Oscars, that was like, wow. Yeah, I don't know if he can come back from that.
Yeah, his career has been almost like squeaky clean. His career has been so squeaky clean that he's got to balance it out with a little bit of violence in there. His rap music, his acting, all of his stuff has been really uneventful in a sense. There has been really not much controversy with him. So it was his turn. But you know what? He's still winning, because remember when we went to Los Angeles, they were filming the second season of Bel-Air. So yeah, I mean, so things continue. Life continues with him.
Well, and actually I got some thoughts on that, from a financial standpoint, and in terms of what I saw in that video. But before I do that, if everybody could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching or listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia. And on Pillow Talk, our goal is to elevate conversations. She's an expert on relationships, and she's a therapist and a full professor of social work. And I'm a PhD of finance. So we like to talk about topics that relate to money, love, Black folks, everything in between. And we believe in intelligent Black people. So if you are an intelligent Black person and you like intelligent conversations instead of the ratchetness, then this would be the place for you. But sometimes we can be a little bit ratchet too. So forgive us for that in advance. Dr. Alicia has a lot of free resources that she sends out. If you'd like to receive those resources on how to have healthy relationships, how to have a healthy life, how to be mentally healthy, just text the word love, LOVE, to 87948. If you text love to 87948, she'll send you some information. She's done workbooks on things like financial anxiety. She's got lots of materials for couples that want to build strong families. Also, if your mental health it needs some backup, she's got you. She actually trains therapists. So this is somebody that I think you should talk to. So just text the word love to 87948, and there's plenty of stuff coming. Now let's talk about this video. Okay, so with this video with Will Smith, and actually I'd like to, before I make my comment on the video, I'd like to actually share the video one more time, just so that we can kind of see it fresh with a fresh eye. And then I'm going to kind of give you a quick Dr. Boyce assessment of what I hear. And also, and this is on, if you want to go and join that conversation, it's on my new Instagram page, Dr. Boyce Money. It's very small, so you can talk to me directly on that page if you want to. So feel free to go to Dr. Boyce Money on Instagram. Here we go.
$350 million. Is that accurate?
I don't even know, man. I don't discuss such things.
As someone who's had money, lost money, then had it again bigger than he ever imagined. Are you good with money now? Are you working on getting better? What's your relationship like with money?
This is the downsize phase of my life. The first half of my life was gather. And the second half of my life is going to be, give. Once you've bought everything you want, and there's literally nothing on earth that you want to buy. I just wish that was a gift that everybody could have, because there's nothing that material can do to satisfy you. When you realize that no relationship, that no money, that no kids, that like there's literally nothing that can make you happy. You got to make happy in here. You got to make happy in here with none of that stuff. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. A quick Google search says that your net worth is $350 million.
All right. So, all right. So I assume everybody heard that. All right. So let me give you my quick assessment on that, on what I heard there. And it didn't surprise me. Again, Will's a smart, thoughtful person. So I kind of expect a smart, thoughtful person to make a smart, thoughtful comment like that. And also you have to have, Will is not just a guy who's educated. From what I understand, I think I could have sworn his brother Harry told me that he could have went to MIT or something like that if he wanted to. And it's not that Will is educated. He has knowledge. Remember, knowledge is different from education. I know a lot of people that have a lot of education, but not a lot of knowledge. A lot of the things that you learn in school are not the things that you need to learn for life. But he also has wisdom, and wisdom. So I know a lot of people that have education. I know a lot of people that have knowledge, and I know people who have all those things and don't have wisdom. He seems to have all three. And wisdom comes with experience. Wisdom comes with having lived a certain experience. And he's able to kind of speak from a certain spiritual mountaintop. Every single morning we do financial consciousness, economic elevation, etc. He's elevated. He can speak from a position of economic elevation because Will has been to a mountaintop that most people have never been to. Most people don't know what it's like to get a check in the mail for $88 million or whatever crazy experience he's had. So that's a conversation that is interesting if you ever really want to understand money on a deeper level. And what he's basically saying is, I've been there. I've seen it all. I've had it all. It's all been offered to me. And I learned that to some extent, just like when he gave that speech, he said that Denzel had told him that it's at your highest moment that the devil shows up or something like, or the devil comes to get you or whatever it was, right? Well, I kind of feel like going to that level of kind of having everything, he speaks like a guy who's seen the devil face to face. It's like you've hit the highest of the highest mountains, but then you hit rock bottom at the same time. Similar to Deion Sanders, who talks about how at the height of his career, when he's making millions of dollars, he's world famous, he's got every woman in the world, anything he wants, sports cars, big houses, all that, but then he wants to kill himself. So to me, it's almost it's just so dramatically deep in the sense that, when the devil blesses you at that level, he's testing you. He's like, okay, here, you can have it all. Here, take this. Oh, you want some more of this? There you go. Take some more. Take more. And then you're thinking, you're gobbling all this up, thinking, okay, if I do this, I'll be happy. If I do that, I'll be happy. Oh, now I need to be happy again. I'm going to do more of this and more of that and more of this and more of that. And then you just depleted, all that, that dopamine and all the, whatever those neurotransmitters are that they give you that pleasure and happiness are gone. And in fact, I remember in his book, him mentioning that that something would happen sexually where he said that he would have an orgasm and vomit. Yeah. How low do you have to feel to vomit when you have an orgasm? Most people can't relate to that. So I think at that point you hit that rock bottom, and then a part of you just dies and a new part of you has to be born for you to even cope with this crazy reality that you're in. And so I love the fact that he helps us understand something very, very basic, that money definitely is not the happiness that you're seeking. Money is not going to get you nowhere, really. But money matters, especially when you don't have it. And money matters also if you understand how it is a tool for the enhancement of your life and a tool for your ability to access those things that money cannot and should not ever be able to buy. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny. It's like some people walk around and they're unhappy and they have this void inside of them. And it's like there's not enough things outside that they could accumulate to fill this void, to bring true happiness. And I think he's referring to this contentment. And it only comes from within, not from external things. And so I just think society, and definitely in our culture, we just place so much value on wealth and material success that we tend to overlook like the genuineness of happiness that can be self-sustained, and, you know, cultivating your own sense of joy and fulfillment from what you do on a daily basis. And that in itself, believe it or not, when you focus just on that, all of the money will come, your relationships will get better. You know, it's all this personal growth that comes with that. But if you focus on all these external, then you never can fill it up. You have to really focus on within. And this is a great example of that. You also mentioned the devil, and you know what I think about the devil. The devil is within. There's no devil outside of us. And, you know, the devil is really battling your insecurities and negative thoughts. So, like, I don't know, like negative thoughts and negative thinking. You know, I work with my clients on this all the time, and I don't talk about it in these words, but that's really the devil. You know, the devil or evil is really just your own thinking that's negative. And, you know, you can consciously turn that around and start filling yourself up with affirmations and things around you that you enjoy. Everything in my office, everything around me, I try to do things that reminds me of what's inside, and to continue with the positive mindset. And so, yeah, I think that's what I have to say. So I agree with you, Boyce.
Yeah, well, and by the way, some of you were asking where can you find Dr. Alicia's books? You can go to we just put it on the same website. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, there's a whole section on love and money, and in that section you can find Dr. Alicia's workbooks, and also you can have a free e-copy of my book Financial Lovemaking if you text the word love to 87948. Or if you go to boyceandalicia.com, that's boyceandalicia.com. There's some stuff there for you. And so feel free to go there, and you can have my book for free. So, all right. So, and then of course, Dr. Alicia has a lot of stuff, and you can grab some of that as well. All right. So let me, I'll say this. I think that you're right. I think that one thing that really does bother me sometimes, babe, is I feel like as a society, we're not necessarily trained to appreciate just deep things, deep conversations, just deep thinking. Because if you sit around and you do some of that deep thinking, meditation, and just practice, like just stare at things and just process things, and you can really come to some really powerful insights. And I like the way it challenges people on a broad scale to really do the hard work. Like I just think about, I would compare, and and I don't know how people would feel about this, but I look at 50 Cent's Instagram page versus Will Smith's, right? Both two mega stars who have millions of followers. And I get a whole different experience when I go to each page. When I go to 50's page, I get a lot of immaturity,
He's
a
so
lot of
petty on that page.
a lot of small-minded thinking, very immature, and just sort of not necessarily the kind of stuff that's going to help you grow. It's kind of stuff that's going to keep you as a kid. And then when I go to Will's page, I see things that reflect growth and intellect and just intellectual curiosity that I think is powerful. And so I really like the idea of a Black man using his global platform to just say to the world, like, hey, let's be better. Let's make ourselves smarter. Let's become like Dr. Claude Anderson. He uses that term "need to grow." The need to grows. Like let's elevate. That way, maybe we can understand our condition, how to overcome it, how to achieve our goals, how to live our best life, instead of being small-minded, petty, and stuck. Right? A lot of people want you stuck in the mud. They don't want you to become better. And I think that that's not good for us. I think we need to figure out, like, okay, why did this happen to me? Why am I in this condition? What's going on around me? What is this thing? And there was and by the way, I wanted to share something with you. I looked up some facts about Will Smith that that a lot of people may not know. First of all, how many of you know that? Well, you probably know this. How many of you know that Will Smith has a genius level IQ? His IQ is estimated to be around 115. His intelligence has helped him in his acting and business ventures.
Yes.
So did you know
I knew that? I knew that because people talked about the fact that they would, on set, when they were filming movies and the TV shows, that he would memorize everybody's part. like almost overnight. They would get the script, and not only would he memorize his own lines, but he would memorize the lines of everyone else, to the point where he would be mouthing the words that other people would say. And to me, I was just like, first of all, I don't know how actors memorize lines verbatim. Like that in and of itself would keep me from being an actress, because I don't know how. I'd have to improv. I don't know how people do that, but they said he had the knack of just high memorization skills. So that doesn't surprise me that he's like above and beyond intelligent, average intelligence. Yeah.
And here's a couple more. He's a voracious reader. He says he credits books that he loves, like The Alchemist, the autobiography of Malcolm X. The autobiography of Malcolm X was heavily influential for him. Maybe that's what made him slap Chris Rock. I don't know. Also, he experimented with NASA astronauts to simulate life on Mars. He did that in 2016. He's also known to be a really, really good chess player. He plays chess on movie sets. He also he also set a Guinness World Record by attending 3 movie premieres in a 24-hour period. So the premieres were for his film Hitch, and he also attended events in Manchester, Birmingham, and London within one day. Kind of surprised that the record is only 3. I thought maybe it'd be something bigger than that, but yeah. So there we go. So those are some little fun facts about Will Smith that a lot of people didn't know.
He's a hard worker.
Yes,
and
he is.
Seems like he enjoys it. Every second of it, he just seems to like really enjoy.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm enjoying about watching Will and his movie? I'm enjoying the fact that he is financially intelligent enough that he's positioned himself where they really can't cancel him. You know, I love the fact that Will has made certain decisions, you know, with his production companies and his financial moves and everything else, that he's put himself in a position where he could slap somebody on at the Oscars, you know, get banned for 10 years. By the way, most people would have been charged with a crime, but he didn't, because he's Will Smith. They let him sit back in the audience. Is that fair? No, it's not. But then again, he's Will Smith, right? So, but I love the fact that he, despite all this stuff, he's right there back at it. It's almost like he gets to decide how you're gonna view him. He's like, no, you're not gonna view me as the simp who has the wife talking crazy about me at the table talk. You're not gonna view me as the guy who slapped Chris Rock. I'm gonna flip the script on you. And instantly after that slap happened, first thing he did was he said, I'm gonna remind y'all that I'm a better rapper than 99% of these scrubs out here that are trying to make money with music. He did that. And then he was like, oh, and also let me show you another magic trick. I'm about to go and go to the archives, and I'm gonna whip out Bad Boys 4 and become such a big international movie star all over again that you're gonna forget. You're literally gonna be talking so much about my movie, you won't even remember that I went mega viral for slapping somebody at the Oscars last year. You know, I just really think that is fascinating. You know, this man don't need no publicist. He knows how to morph himself into whatever you need him to be right there in the moment. Shout out to Will Smith for that.
How inspiring is Will Smith? Like, okay, everybody out there, think about the worst day of your life. Imagine having that being televised and everybody talking about it. Still, what's it been, like 2 years later? We're still talking about it. It's that outrageous. Will Smith has been able to overcome that. You should be able to overcome anything you're going through in your private life. You got a wife that did this book that spilled all your business in this book, and you still come out on top. So, I mean, what inspiration we can gain from Will Smith and his actions. And the people love him. And I'm sorry, at the end of the day, when it comes to making movies and films, it's all about the bottom line for the industry. So a lot of times, you know, it's just like, okay, do we have an actor that can get people to come out to the box office? And it clearly we do. He is somebody that can do that. So he promoted that film in a brilliant way. He used his social media in a wonderful way. Yeah, he kept his head up high. Thank you in the comments. I just saw that. He kept his head up, and he leaned on his beautiful personality, and he's funny and witty, and it worked for him. How inspiring.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, it is. And maybe that's a takeaway that everybody can have in here. You know, this greatness, it doesn't just exist in Will Smith. I think that Will would agree that, you know, you should take inspiration from that, and just know, no matter what you've been through, you can come back from it. You know, you can
Yeah.
you can come back. You can come back from that bad credit score. You can come back from that bad relationship. You can come back from losing that job. You can come back from the knee replacement surgery. You can come back from whatever pain, heartbreak, trauma you've experienced. You can come back from it, and you can come back better than you were before. Babe, you were about to say something. I cut you off. I
No,
apologize.
I was saying he comes across as a wonderful, conscientious father, as a dedicated husband, as a loyal friend. I mean, all around. Ain't no scandal. There's no video recording of him beating anybody up. You know, he ain't nobody. He didn't get Me Too'd anywhere.
That's interesting. I mean, given that you brought that up about I mean, think about it. That's fascinating, right? If you look at the fact that he's been able to just come back like that, I don't think Diddy could pull that off.
No, because think about it. Diddy does not possess that positivity. He doesn't possess that true happiness. He doesn't read books like how Will Smith. They just they send out a whole different type of energy, you know, and it just like, you can see it on his face. Like, you can't not be who you are. You know, you could fake. I mean, so first of all, people can fake who they are, but it's not lasting. Like, eventually at the end of the day, the real you is going to come out. You're not going to even know how to hide who and what you are. So, I mean, I think this will be a good lesson for Diddy. I really still have hope for Diddy. I still have hope for him. I think he can turn it around if he makes the conscious effort to really look at himself and fix some of the things that are happening with him. I still think that he could, in a way, be inspired by Will Smith. I don't, as a therapist, I don't want to cancel anybody and say that they are untreatable. I don't want to say that, but I feel like if he really was any sense of sincerity in the video that he did, where he apologized, I'm using air quotes because it wasn't much of an apology, but I would give it a 20% apology. If he was able to do the 80% more that it takes to really change himself, he could be just as popular as Will Smith. I'm not giving up on him. I don't give up on anybody. I always have hope for people that they can change, even if they have some tendencies and some character flaws. I really think that people can dig deep inside and be who and what they need to be happy and content with themselves. So I don't want to be that kind of person, but I think I think that people can turn themselves around, and Diddy can do it too. So,
well, you know what? I'm gonna pray for him. So
we're gonna pray. Sam,
yeah,
listen. He needs help. It's obvious, and people act out of love or they act out of fear, and he is acting out of a place of hurt. Hurt people do hurt people in a lot of ways, and so we do hope that he will take the hard road. It's not going to be an easy road for him, that he would choose to do the right thing.
Well, I'm like RN in the chat. I'm not I don't really get all that concerned about the life of rich celebrities. I think that it's interesting to talk about the celebrities to the extent that it can benefit us in some way. Maybe there's a lesson that can be learned, and it's certainly an interesting topic of conversation because everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not as concerned about celebrities as I am about the people that are in this conversation now, right? Diddy's gonna figure it out, and if he does, great. If he doesn't, great. Will Smith, same thing. These are people that have a lot of opportunities that most people don't have. And so I think that if we talk about celebrities, I really want to elevate to get to the point where we circle it back to us. I think that what matters are the people that are here. And these are, and really, I think that the people that are really listening, like in the chat, are really the engine and the backbone of the Black community. You know, you're really talking about people that are the mothers, the fathers, the teachers, the coaches, the counselors, the lawyers, the therapists, the doctors, you know, et cetera. And sometimes I think as a community, we can see the celebrity and get so caught up in how they're doing that we forget about how we're doing, how the community's doing. And I think at the end of the day, the community in some areas is not doing as well as it could. And that's why I respect people like yourself, because, you know, you are talking to people in the community and helping them to improve. But I do agree with you. I mean, maybe Diddy will come back, maybe not. He's had 30 years to make his mark. You know, it's somebody else's turn.
You know, it's never too late for any of us to make our mark. And, you know, RN said he's a narcissist. He could be. You know, he definitely has the behaviors of someone who's a narcissist, but even a narcissistic person can even turn it around. Like, I'm not going to say just because you have toxic patterns and behaviors, I'm not going to turn people into monsters. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say you're a monster and you're unfixable. You're a human being. You can make the decision to stop what you're doing because it's hurting other people. You can make the decision to be empathetic, to have compassion, to have, you know, all of the skills that it takes for healthy relationships and to help being a healthy person. So I'm going to have hope for celebrities and for all of us, you know, all of us. And I think talking about celebrities is so important because these are visual behaviors that we can draw upon for lessons in our own life. You know, we just can't say this person did this horrible thing, let's ostracize them and push them out. Where are they going? You know, we really just going to cancel and get rid of everybody. Well, sometimes it's not that easy to do. They're in our families. They are the parent of our children, you know, and in many cases, you can't just say, forget about them. I mean, you still have to deal with people who are difficult, and, you know, you can create a corrective experience for the people around you just in you becoming a better person.
Well, you know what?
I think it's contagious, Boyce.
Well, you know what? Your beauty is contagious, and also
beauty from within. You know, when you talk about beauty, I hope that you're talking about me as a person and not an outside.
Well, I'm talking about both. Because
okay, I'm hoping
when I first met you, I didn't know you as a person, so you had to look good for me to come over and talk to you. I had to be honest about that. However, I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today on Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia. And if you would like to follow us on Pillow Talk and join other conversations, if you want to, you can just text the word love to 87948, and Dr. Alicia will send you free information on relationships and mental health and things like that, because we have mental health challenges in our families, in our communities. It costs us lots of wealth. It costs us lots of well-being. And so if you text love to 87948, she can send you some information. And in fact, we have a Black Love Challenge if you're interested in Black Love, or also at coachingwithdralicia.com. She sees clients on a regular basis, individuals, couples, groups, whatever it is that you need help with. And, you know, and these are important things for your peace of mind. So feel free to go to coachingwithdralicia.com. Now, myself, you guys know every single morning I do Money in the Morning, economic elevation, financial consciousness training, where we get together and we just talk about economics in a way that is going to elevate our thinking and help us understand money. If you can't see the money, then you'll never be the money. So my job as a finance professor is to help you see the money. If you'd like to be invited to tomorrow's session, we meet every single morning, 7 days a week at 10 a.m. Eastern. Just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. Text morning to 87948. I will send you a free invitation to a private Zoom where we're going to knock it out the park, and I guarantee it's going to change your life. If you live in another country and you can't text the word, then that's okay. We got you. Just go to drboyceelevate.com. That's drboyceelevate.com. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you 100%. And also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you search for me on Spotify, you can find our stuff there as well. And I hope you guys will join us next time. And I hope you enjoy these sorts of discussions because, you know, I think substance is a good thing for our community. And we need to hear from our specialists and our experts and things like that, so that we can really understand what's going on. All right, love you guys. Thank you, babe, very much for joining me. I appreciate you, because I know you had to get up and get fixed up to go on video late at night. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone.